Okay, so we've got aero bike versus climbing bike. Which is better? Aero bike is basically bullshit. And the notion that you're going to be getting dropped because your bike isn't aero enough is absolute bullshit. If you want to get aero, slam your stem. Yeah, slam your stem. Develop your flexibility. Develop your ability to sit low on the bike. I mean, look at, you got a 5-foot rider and you got a 7-foot rider. On the flat, the 7-foot rider probably going to be going pretty quick if they've got some fitness because they'll be producing more power. Aero is huge, but you can always sit behind someone. But this whole aero bike is better for climbing. Cannondale put out some data recently, and it sounds pretty convincing. Even I was like, wow, this is interesting stuff. And then you ride one of these bikes, and you're like, okay, this bike rides like a slug, and they look cool. And if you love them, then go for it. If you like that bike, if it vibes with your heart and it gets your emotions triggered, then get it, ride it, love it. All right, I'm not here to say you shouldn't buy a bike because you like the look of it or it makes you inspired to ride. Then get it. But if you're here because you're thinking I want the best bike for climbing, best bike to keep up with my mates on the climbs, etc., then go for lightweight bike and slam that fucking stem. Get really over the front. It's got to be aggressive, all right? It's got to be aggressive. Now, some people like Lance Armstrong rode a pretty high setup. They had back issues, okay? But Lance could have gone faster if you had a more slammed, aggressive setup, for sure. We know that. But yeah, if you are limited by injury or old injury, then or flexibility, then you've got to ride a bit more of a higher setup. But over time, maybe see if you can lower it. So that'll make a big advantage here on climbing. It's just you're more aggressive, your pelvis is rotated forward, you're just more over that bike. Definitely, that's why I ride a smaller size on my climbing bikes than my touring comfort bikes. So it's just it does make sense to have a more aggressive setup for climbing. But in terms of the aeros better than lightweight, that's just bullshit. Go and ride an aero bike, and go and ride a fucking super lightweight bike. Go and ride a disc brake bike. In terms of pure performance climbing, the lightweight bike trumps all. The lightweight bike trumps all. It's there is a time for disc brakes. I love disc brakes in the rain, for sure. I love them. I love disc brakes when you're carrying a big heavy load. They're fantastic. I love disc brakes just cruising around in traffic. Disc brakes, great power. But in terms of me riding my mates up the hills and just going fucking full gas, disc brakes for me are a hindrance. Same as SRAM E-Tap. I like it. I like the E-Tap. No cables, easy to fit. It's all just cruising dandy. But when it comes to really hard shifting performance, fast, like Di2 or SRAM mechanical, I don't like the E-Tap. So it depends on what sort of riding you're doing, what your goals are, things like that. You don't need a super lightweight bike if your goal is just to cruise around and explore an adventure. Light enough is good enough. But if you're going for every single second, then every single few hundred grams in your bike will make the bike just feel a bit lighter, a bit more lively. It'll make a difference. But so it depends on what riding style you're doing. If you want more information, I'd recommend get a copy of my ebook, my Cycling Buyer's Guide, Durianrider Lean Body Bible. It's got all the tips, the best frames, the best pedals, the best everything, best power meters for budget and just best performance. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on stuff over the last 20 odd years riding. Made a lot of mistakes, wasted a lot of money, learned from my mistakes. Go durianrider.com and get a copy. It's the best ebook you're going to get on cycling. Hundreds of tips, nutrition, weight loss, sleep, etc. But in terms of aero bikes, look at what Team Cannondale are using. They're using their Super 6 when it matters. When it matters, they're using the Super 6, the Evo. So the lightweight bike. Stick with lightweight when it comes to performance. If you're going for pure performance, always go lightweight. Don't worry about aero. Aero you get from being low on the bike. Aero you get from a tight jersey. Aero you get from drafting people. Aero isn't your fork or your seat post. That's just marketing bollocks. Lastly, if you like the look, I like the look of those aero bikes. I think they look pretty hot. All right. If you like the look of them, then get one. But don't think you need one for performance, because you don't. If you like it, get it. But don't think you need it. At the end of the day, the best bike in the world is the one you love to ride. You love the look of it, you love how it performs, you love how it feels. That is the best bike in the world. Ride it hard, ride it long, ride it safe, ride it today.